My name is Stephen Dyna. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I am really honored to be here today because I get to introduce you on a deeper level to the co-founder of the Shift Network, my beloved partner in life. Her name is Devaa Haley Mitchell. She's also a Reverend Doctor. She is a woman of many talents who has gone deep into the activation of the codes that we believe humanity needs to awaken the feminine now, particularly in women. She is going to be taking us on a journey today. It's going to be a little bit different than a typical introductory call because she's really going to guide you into an activation or initiation of these codes in yourself. There are many of them, and in her upcoming program called the Archetypal Feminine Codes, you have a chance to go into many more of them in a deeper and experiential way. But today you'll get a taste of what that looks like and why this is such an important work for the moment that we're in on the planet and for so many lives. So with that said, Devaa, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Stephen. It's an honor to be here and to get to share this work with you and everyone watching.
Well, I want to begin with something of your journey. I know it's a multidimensional journey, but I'd say that particularly into the work of activating capacities, skills, frequencies in you, working with these archetypes as a pathway to open to higher dimensions of your being and deeper dimensions of your being. And I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about what pulled you onto this pathway and the fruits of that for you.
Sure. So I've just been reminded recently how long it's been that I've been doing this archetypal work, and it's coming up on 20 years. One of my students reminded me, she met me 20 years ago at a retreat I was leading on this work. And I think what originally drew me in was I was really drawn to the idea of being part of a mystery school. And for me, what that meant was I knew that there was something, a deeper possibility for my life, for my spiritual path that wasn't being yet fully expressed in my life. That sneaking feeling that there's more possible, there's something else that my soul is longing for. And so I met a woman named Ariel Spilsbury, who's been a mentor of mine for many years, incredible founder of the 13 Moon Mystery School. And in her presence and in the depth of the ceremonial space that she created, I could feel this deeper soul part of myself waking up. I didn't fully understand it, but there was a coming to attention and a sense that there was a whole path and a whole lineage that she was stewarding that was beckoning to my soul. It was more of a feeling, like a knowing of, oh, this is what I've been longing for. And so without even really understanding what the word archetype even meant or what this specific sacred feminine path that I was embarking on was all about, there was like kind of a soul longing, a yearning that I felt could be fulfilled in that work. And so I dove in and became part of the 13 Moon Mystery School and became an apprentice and eventually what's called a focalizer. And then now in the last couple years, what I've been sensing is that there's a whole new set of archetypes. They're not new, but the way that I'm putting them together is new, that is really modern, alive, and can really deeply serve women who are wanting to step forward into their feminine fullness now at this time, based and rooted in the wisdom of the ancient mystery schools, but that's really current for what we're dealing with in our world today. So I'm really excited. This is a new synthesis that I've been working on for a long time, but it's finally ready to be shared.
Well, I look forward to getting more of that synthesis in a few moments, but maybe first it could be useful for people to understand a little bit about this process of working with an archetypal energy, how you do that, how it begins to transform, open, and deepen you in substantial ways.
Great, yeah. So if you're not familiar with archetypes, I'll give a few examples. The example of the mother is one. It's a cross-cultural pattern or way of being that people understand through time, through different countries, different religions. So the mother, the father would be a masculine example, or the wild woman would be another, or the muse, or one of the energies we're going to explore today, the queen. And what I found is that each of these archetypes has a whole series of energies attached to it, from color frequencies to different attributes. For example, the mother in her light quality, you could say the mother energy is nurturing, is receptive, is loving, unconditionally loving. But there's also shadow aspects. So for example, with the mother, it could be being overbearing or overgiving or being a martyr on some level. And so what I found is that as you engage with these different archetypes, and the ones we'll be exploring here today, it gives you access to a whole range of patterns, energies that you might not be as familiar with. Most people are familiar with the mother energy, and some have a good, positive feeling about it. Others have a negative feeling, especially depending on how your own mother line or your personal mother and your experience with her could have been. But there's other archetypes that people may be less familiar with. And as, for example, one that I work a lot with women is called the Attuned Truthteller. So this is about speaking truth to power. It's about finding your voice and finding ways to express it, especially when it's not popular. And what I found is as people work with these archetypal energies, it's almost like if you were an actress in a theater production and you got to play the part of someone really different from you. But through that experience, getting inside that character's world, you're kind of trying on and expressing parts of yourself that might be somewhat dormant in your everyday life. And as you work with these energies and practice them and take them on more, it becomes second nature, where you can access those energies, not just when you're in the sacred temple space, but when you're in your everyday life. You practice, for example, being the truth teller in ceremony and saying the truth of what you feel from your heart, but then you get skilled with it, and then you can start using those skills in your everyday life. So what I find is it really supports people to expand the range of your feminine expression. Another way to think of it is if you're an artist and if you're painting with just 4 or 5 colors on your palette, but there's a whole range of colors that are available. So as you work with these archetypes, it's like adding all these different colors to your palette. And then as you mix them and play with them, suddenly the range of the colors and the energies and what I call the feminine radiance that you can express and the power as a woman that you can express becomes greatly enhanced. And I think having access to the full range of our feminine radiance is really what's called for now, especially as we're stepping into many more roles of leadership, whether that's in our communities or in our families, but having this range of expression is really central right now.
I'm wondering if you can speak to, most people I think are going to be drawn and sort of maybe excited about certain archetypes and maybe a little with judgmental or fearful or resistant to other ones. Just that process of discerning what's the medicine that different archetypes offer, and is it good to be like, I'm just really like a full-on mother and I'm going to embrace that, or is that sometimes evading other parts of yourself that might need to come online?
Well, I think the opportunity is to really have access to all of the energies. So there's going to be some archetypes that you feel really comfortable in. For example, the mother that we've been talking about, some of you might feel really comfortable. You feel very motherly, very maternal. That's a natural energy for you, and that feels good. And that might be one of your stations. But it's important to expand into those ones. There's usually a lot of medicine in the archetypes that you feel you want to shy away from. So, for example, one of the archetypes we'll be exploring in the upcoming course is the beloved queen. And we'll actually get a taste of her today. So for some women, the energy of the queen is really alluring. We want to stand in our regal nature. We want to stand in this kind of royal, graceful, wise part of ourselves. But other people may have an aversion to it because there's also a shadow of the queen. The shadow could be the shadow of arrogance or the kind of off with your head punishing queen energy. And so people may or not want to be seen as that, as a queen. And so there's a lot of medicine in looking at, you know, both the light and the shadow, and also what draws you, what feels comfortable, and then what also feels really like an aversion. It's always interesting to explore what is the aversion, and there's often medicine for you in those very archetypes or those aspects of the archetype. Maybe there was someone in your life that expressed a lot of a negative shadow energy that you suffered from. So there might be a healing that is involved there, or there might be a stretching into some of the, you know, like the power of the queen and being able to wield your power with grace and precision. That may be something that is being called for if you're feeling averse to it. So it's a dance of really exploring these energies, and both what draws you and feels comfortable, what feels uncomfortable, what even repels you. I've seen people be completely repelled by some of the mother energies because of their own experience with their own mother in their life. And there's been huge healing opportunities there. So it's an opportunity to become healed, become whole, become radiant, and become powerful. And then to use your radiance and power in service of the life you were really born to live.
Let's talk about the moment we're in. Which archetypes you're feeling really are being called to the foreground now that is particularly important for women to become comfortable or fluent in those energies and qualities, and why they're like good medicine for this cultural moment?
Great. Well, actually, all the archetypes that we're exploring in my upcoming course are the ones I feel are most alive and important now. Okay, so as we pull up this slide, you'll see in the upper right-hand side of your screen, there's a color picture of all of the chakras, starting with the red of the first chakra. But in this program and in my schema, we actually start with a chakra that is beneath your feet. It's in the earth, and we call her grounded Gaia. And she brings earth connection and stability. It is one of the chakras, but it's not one of the ones that's explored most frequently. Then we move up to what you see there is red. That's what I call the maternal matriarch. She's about being grounded and belonging. Really, the maternal matriarch is looking at the tribe and is really tending the whole tribe in the way that she leads. Moving up to what you see is orange in the picture is the super creator. And this is a lot about our vital creative energy that is also our sensual energy. So how do we create, pulling from our sensuality and our aliveness and our passion, and really using all of that to fuel us in the world? Then as we continue moving up, you'll see the yellow. That's at the spot that's called the solar plexus. She's a lot about power and integrity. And the archetype is the beloved queen that I've been mentioning. Moving up to the heart space, the heartful healer is the archetype that's here, who's really around love, support, healing the wounds, and coming out on the other side to receive the grace and the gifts of those wounds. We were talking about the attuned truth teller before, really about clear communication. This is one that in the collective right now, I think is very, very important, because many women in particular have been taught that if you don't have something nice to say, you shouldn't say it at all, or that we should be quiet, or we should, be more demure, or, speaking your truth, but in a way that can be reactionary or can be punishing. So there's really a lot of skillful means about how to be a truth teller in a way that where your heart is really open, and where you're tuning in with the person on the other side that you're delivering the communication to see, are they ready to receive it? Is this the right moment? There's a lot really to be learned about how we communicate our truth in a way that is attuned and that is effective. So that's something I have been exploring a lot, and I'm excited to share more about. As we continue to move up, this is the visionary oracle. Now, this is an archetype that it resides here at the third eye. You'll see the purple in that picture. And when many people think of oracles, there's a mystical, ancient sense. For example, the Oracle of Delphi. Many people have heard of that back in ancient times, the Oracle of Delphi. But the invitation here is, how do we all become visionary oracles? It's not just something for a select few that are in the cave living somewhere in the past, but how do we give the green light to this part of ourselves in our modern world and really open the aperture of our intuition much wider than perhaps we give ourselves permission for on a daily basis. So we're going to be exploring a bit more about that archetype today. Moving up to the top of our head, you'll see this is kind of the more pinkish purple or purple indigo color on the top of the head. I call her the sanctified or consecrated prophetess. And again, how do we each access this prophetess part of our being that's deeply connected to spirit, but also walking in the world? So this is something I want to invite all of us to have access to. And maybe we don't show up every day as the prophetess, but we have access when appropriate that we can channel that energy and bring it through in alignment with what's needed, both in our personal lives, but on the planet at this time. And then finally, the 8th chakra, which is kind of up above and beyond the top of the head, I'm calling the radiant soul. And this is one that really combines all of the archetypes and is really kind of the essence of who you are, that transcends space and time. And that kind of where once all of the chakras are tuned in and turned on, you can kind of reside more in this radiant soul place. So it's quite a powerful journey. And as we turn on each of these, we can be the most powerful version of ourselves possible. And also what is true about it is it's very fulfilling to have all of your chakras and all of these archetypes alive and turned on. Like what you're able to accomplish in your life feels much greater because your light is so much brighter. So people are attracted to you that much more. You're illuminating this radiant energy where people are drawn to who are you and what are you doing and what are you saying and what are you offering in the world. So it's a great opportunity because it feels so good on the inside to be fully expressed, but it also allows you to manifest what your soul is really longing to bring into the world, the life you want to create in a much more easeful way. So it's kind of a double benefit that comes from stepping into this more full spectrum feminine way of living and wandering through the world.
It was really beautifully shared in terms of the whole architecture there and how it maps onto the chakras, which I haven't seen you do before. And it makes sense that each energy center would have a distillate of an archetype that sort of is a full expression, and that also why working with all of them is part of creating a harmony and wholeness in your whole system. I really like that. So I know you also want to do a deeper dive into 3 of these today. Maybe share a little bit about why you chose these 3, and then set up for the experiential process you're going to take people through.
Great. Okay. So today we're going to be diving into 3 energies a bit more. The first is the maternal matriarch. So that's at the first chakra, the base of your spine. And this is a grounding energy. I feel like there's so much in uncertainty, confusion. There's a lot of fear that's happening in the collective right now. And so I chose this energy because I feel like it's one of the ones that is really helpful to help us feel more grounded, stable, safe, secure when things are kind of moving around and shifting in the world, to be able to come back to your root and be able to exhale here and breathe in and take in some of that energy is really helpful. It's like that maternal matriarch. So it's the motherly energy, but she's not just a mother, she's also a leader, but she's leading from a feminine way of being really connected with her community as well. So she's kind of a resting, grounding place. So that's why I chose that energy. The next one that I chose, we'll be diving into today, is the beloved queen. And this is an energy I feel is really important because traditionally, for those of you who are familiar with sacred feminine and have studied it a bit in the past, there's been kind of three main phases of life almost that have been demarcated by the teachers of the sacred feminine path. And those three have been maiden, which is the more youthful energy, mother, and then crone. And the crone is more of kind of the wise woman, elder. And I feel, especially probably because I'm a woman in my 50s, but I feel like there is a very powerful place between the mother and the crone. And it's like when I think of it, I am a mother myself right now too. Though I'm in my 50s, I have young children, but I don't yet feel a crone, like I'm not in that really elder phase of life. But I'm in this phase that, especially as we're living longer, and as many of my clients are in the same phase of life where we've experienced a lot, we've done a lot of work in our careers, we have a lot we put out into the world, and it's sort of a time to harvest a lot of that energy back, but to get to sit on the throne of our life experience, our work experience, and really lead from this regal place. And so it's an area and a territory I want to invite many other women to join me in, to join really the queendom, so to speak, where it's not just one queen, but there are many queens who are standing in our power, our wisdom, and are leading from that place. And so I'm inviting women into it because I feel like it's an energy that's been a little bit ignored. And it's a time for celebration. This is definitely not an over the hill experience of 50s, let's say late 40s, 50s and beyond, but it's really about stepping into your full power. So I want to encourage women to do that. And so I chose the beloved queen. And then finally, the visionary oracle, which I mentioned before. I feel like as there are so many things that are being dismantled in our world right now. Things are changing, being dismantled. The patriarchal systems are expressing themselves in ways that seem pretty extreme and at times toxic. And so being able to navigate using our intuition, especially because there's so many conflicting sources of information right now. We often don't even know what's true because the information sources are saying very different things, especially if you're looking at the news and where you're looking at the news, very different information communicated. So the importance of being able to tune in with our intuition and our own felt sense of what is real, what is true, what is right. And then the visionary capacity to be able to vision what is the new world. As one world as we've known it is being dismantled and coming down, being able to powerfully vision into reality this next chapter and inviting people to be a real co-creator with the divine of this next chapter is also highly important. And they're kind of spread out, the first chakra, the third chakra, and then here at this chakra, wanting to give people a choice. So we're going to go into a visualization process and a journey where you're going to get to have a deeper immersive experience with one of those three that you choose.
Beautifully shared, Devaa. I feel like you're really speaking to the moment and to the importance of activating these particular potentials that are really important medicine for our moment. So why don't you go ahead and guide us in the experiential?
Okay, great. So I'm going to invite you, as you hear the music queuing up, to get yourself into a comfortable position. You are somewhere where you can close your eyes and it's safe to do that, then you can go ahead and do that now. And on the exhale, I want to invite you just to release any energy in your field that may feel like it's not serving you at this time. Taking one more deep exhale. Inviting yourself to slow down inviting yourself to drop in. And I'm going to now invite you to enter with me into the imaginal realm. And I want to invite you to imagine that you are in a beautiful, warm day in a forest. And that you are walking through a forest, following a path through the trees. And if it's difficult for you to imagine what I'm saying, then just feel it in your body, feeling what would it be like to be in that forest, smelling trees, feeling the leaves crunch beneath your feet. And as you head down this path, you notice up ahead there is a clearing, a meadow, with dappled light. And as you walk into this meadow, into this clearing, you see that you are in a sacred space. It's an outdoor temple space that has been set for you. And in the middle of this meadow, there is a beautiful earthen altar. Allow yourself to approach the altar and notice the symbols that have been laid on the altar just for you. And there's a calm energy and also a vibrant energy at the same time, calm yet vibrant. So allowing yourself to sit down in front of this altar and imagining from the base of your spine that you're dropping a grounding cord into the earth, allowing yourself to be rooted. And you're also opening at the top of your head your own intuition, like a lens of a camera opening, allowing yourself to be guided by some of your spirit allies. Off to your left, there is an energy being that begins to materialize. And she is an embodiment of the maternal matriarch. And as her energy comes into the space more fully, you can feel it at the base of your spine. Your root begins to activate, and you notice a sense of feeling very safe, very secure in her presence. You notice an overwhelming sense of love pouring from her to you, like an unconditional love. But you can also feel her power and her strength. She says to you, "Welcome, beloved. I am the maternal patriarch. I am here to remind you how much you matter to me to your community, to the world at this time. I offer you my blessings, my love, my support. I am here with you and for you. Just allowing yourself to drink in her energy, her medicine. And as you do that, you feel this color frequency, this dark red, begin to radiate from her and permeate your being. Just accepting her energy with gratitude. Now in front of you, you feel another energy being begin to materialize. And you have a knowing that before you sits the beloved queen. Taking her in, and as she shares her energy with you, you feel your solar plexus beneath your breastbone begin to activate. You're filled with a sense of power, potency, grace. She speaks to you. I see you, beloved one. I stand with you, shoulder to shoulder, eye to eye, heart to heart. You are powerful beyond measure. I invite you to step into this power more fully now. I invite you to use the power you've always had with wisdom and grace in service to your community, your family, and the world. We need your leadership here and now. It is time. You are ready. And she bathes you with this golden yellow frequency that emanates from her solar plexus. You can feel a wave of power surge through your being. It's receiving in her wisdom and her gift. And now on your right, you turn to face the third being that you know is an embodiment of the visionary oracle. And in her presence, you feel your own intuition, your inner eyes, your inner ears, your sense of deep knowing activate even more deeply. She speaks to you. My beloved sister, know more than you sometimes admit. You have the ability to see and hear and feel beyond the 3D realm. It's time to be using your intuitive gifts more as a navigational compass to help you and others move your way through this complex world with wisdom, with deeper ease. And it's time to dream the world you know is possible into reality, co-creating now with the divine. I bless you. I welcome you to step in more deeply as an oracle. And she sends a beam from her third eye to yours with this indigo light, violet, drinking her in. And now feeling into which of these three beings you feel most drawn to sit with for another minute. What energy is needing to be fortified most now? Make your choice and move to sit eye to eye with this being. And as you sit, she places her hands on you. And you can feel more energy begin to move and surge, dissolving away the barriers that have kept you from bringing this energy more fully into your life. With your permission, with your blessing, if you say yes, and welcoming this energy to dissolve any fears, any limitations, even old memories. And as this energy moves through you, this dissolving, allowing your body to move if it feels to move. You might choose to shake a little bit. You might choose to make a little sound. You may know what you're releasing. You may not even know. Just in this moment, releasing as much as feels comfortable so that you can let more of this potent archetypal energy in. And now saying yes. If you feel an internal yes, to let that energy move through, allowing through her presence, her color frequency to intensify, and for you to breathe more of her energy in, allowing her to activate, begin to activate some of the dormant codes connected to this archetype. Knowing that it's a process, but inviting the process to begin here and now. Letting the activation begin at the next level. And again, allowing your body to move if there are movements or sounds, trusting that your body and your soul know how to do this together. And as you're ready, just then gently opening your eyes, coming back, moving back through space and time to be here with us. You may just need to actually stretch your physical body for just a moment to bring yourself back here, present. Shake. Feel your feet on the ground. I invite you to wiggle your toes and just come back. And just notice what just happened for you. This was just the beginning of an activation. How are you doing over there, Stephen?
Great. Thank you. That was very powerful. Do you want to say anything about what to do with what emerged?
Yeah. Well, I would invite you, after we complete our call, if you have a little time, to first do a little journaling as you make it concrete so it doesn't just slip away into the ethers. And you can ask, as you're doing your writing, what steps can I take in my tangible life to ground this energy, to ground whatever wisdom may have come, and to begin to bring that energy more solidly into my life. And you started an activation, so that activation will go on, but to really tend this energy, if you can spend the next couple of days just revisiting that energy, connecting into it, and whatever wisdom got started, that wisdom might continue to inform you. So it's really about how do I bring this energy into my daily life, and how can it serve what you're up to in the world? And then, kind of follow any instructions that you get about how to do that.
Well, beautiful process and such an inspiring vision. And I think now actually is a natural place to talk about how people can study and go deeper with you and be facilitated in this full spectrum emergence that you've described. So we're very blessed that Devaa has agreed to teach a brand new program that is building on what you've heard today and then goes much deeper. It's called the Archetypal Feminine Codes, Divine Blueprints to Embody Sacred Wisdom for a Radiant, Impactful, and Abundant Life. You can find it at the URL archetypalfemininecodes.com, archetypalfemininecodes.com. It's a 7-week program and is going to work systematically through these archetypes aligned with the chakras and meeting the moment that we're now in. And so, Devaa, I'd love for you to share in your own words about your intentions for what people will come away with from this program. And then we'll go through the modules and give a preview of what's coming.
Great. Yeah, well, my deep intention for this course is to really support you to be the most radiant, powerful, fulfilled human possible. And for you to really live the life you were born to live. And also for you to step into even deeper leadership in your family, your community, the world. I look out at the world right now and I see that on many levels, there's so much falling apart. There's so much that is being revised in our world. And so my intention is to provide a counterbalance, a very wise, feminine, attuned, connected possibility for women to step into, sort of as a counterbalance to what's happening in the culture as the kind of the older patriarchy is dropping away, or going through a certain dissolving, dismantling, that there is something new that's being built. And that we have there's the outer structures that are needing to be built, but inside ourselves, it begins with rebuilding and fortifying and strengthening the inner structures that we have, so that we can really be active co-creators of this next chapter along with spirit, and where we can live in the fullness of our womanhood. So I'm empowering and wanting to stand with and behind supporting the women architects of this next chapter, whether that's a big architect or a small architect. No matter what we're doing in our lives, we're each up to important things, and I want to be wind beneath the wings, especially of those women who are feeling called to step into their greatness even more now.
Beautiful intentions. Module 1, Gaia and the Maternal Matriarch, Reclaiming Safety, Belonging, and Feminine Leadership.
Yeah, so we've gone through this map already, I shared with you. So basically what happens in each of these is really an opportunity to have more time and energy. We just, I tried to do 3 all in this 1-hour session, but to have each archetype, we'll be working in some of the weeks, we'll work with 2 archetypes, and in some of the weeks we'll work with just 1, but to have a whole week to unpack 1 or 2 archetypes and really learn to embody it in your life and go into all the nuances and then work with it much more deeply. So this first grounded Gaia that we talk about is about earth wisdom, and how do you really live from a place where you are connected to the earth. You are using her as a way to stay grounded and connected and balanced, and to move from her rhythms, which are connected with the seasons and the moons. And there's so much wisdom that comes from the earth. So we get to spend some time connecting with her, along with that maternal matriarch, which we explored a little more deeply today. So we'll spend the first week on that.
Module 2, the Super Creator, Igniting Creative Power, Channeling Pleasure, and Manifesting with Soul.
Yeah, so this is a really fun week where we get to play with this energy of being a divine co-creator, using our sensual energy, using our passion, using our creativity. So this is a week to let it all get fired up and get passionate about our life and what we're up to in our life, and really find, if we're already following our passion, how do we expand it? If we're not living in a passionate way, how do we rekindle that flame? So there's a lot of juice and energy and art that comes out of the second week of our time together.
Module 3, the Beloved Queen, Reclaiming Sovereignty, Vision, and Feminine Power.
Great. So you got a taste of the Beloved Queen today. And so we'll really be working a lot on how do we expand these positive qualities of her, standing in our grace, standing in our wisdom, our regalness, wielding our power and getting comfortable with being a powerful woman. And then also we'll be diving into the shadow side, which I mentioned a little bit before, but being willing to look at ourselves and say, where am I being perhaps overbearing or controlling or arrogant, or some of the other shadowy aspects, to look at that tenderly and also say, okay, where do I have work to do so that I can be a beloved queen, rather than, some of the ones that are the queens. Often in films, I notice they're always like these evil queens that are depicted. So it's looking like, okay, where is that true about me? But how do I really live into this other aspect of the queen, the beloved queen that's really needed now? So I'm looking forward to joining my sister queens in this module.
Module 4, the Heartful Healer, Embodying Compassion, Presence, and the Power of Love.
Yes. So this is an archetype we didn't really explore today, but this is, the healer that we all have. How do we welcome her, expand her even more? And how do we work through the pains, both in ourselves or in our clients or in our family? How do we bring this healing balm, and how do we be the healing balm that can help heal the wounds and allow the grace on the other side? Oftentimes, the wounded healer is a certain archetype that is very known. You're healing your own wounds, but this is the heartful healer, really connecting with the depth of our heart, knowing our heart is an agent for transformation and healing, and allowing that even more deeply.
Module 5, the Attuned Truthteller, Reclaiming the Power of Your Voice and Sharing it Skillfully.
Yes, so we talked a bit about this too, and this is really a week to be able to practicing speaking our truth with wisdom, with attunement, and to really learn how do we use our voice so that we're not using it as a sword to cut off someone's head, or if it's a man, not to cut off their balls, but to use our truth as like a laser beam that can liberate and can allow freedom for ourselves and others. So this is one of the archetypes, as I was saying, I feel like is most underdeveloped in some women and is really, really needed in today's world.
Module 6, the visionary oracle and sanctified prophetess, piercing the veil and seeing, sensing, and speaking from the deep.
I think this is also a bit of the oracle we got to explore a little bit here today. The prophetess is one that for many people can feel a little bit edgy because it feels very presumptuous to, posit ourselves as a prophetess. But it's actually something that's needed. We need not to just look back to ancient times, to the Mary Magdalene of the world or Joan of Arc. It's like we need the modern day prophetesses who are here among us. And part of what we'll be looking at is who are the women that are embodying these different energies right now strongly, who are living and walking today. But it's an invitation for you to step more into these two aspects, both your visionary oracle, really seeing, and then living from that place and calling others into that as the prophetess. So I'm excited about this aspect and inviting many more of us to own the prophetess part of our nature.
Module 7, the radiant soul, becoming the light you were born to be.
So this is the final week where it kind of all comes together, and the radiant soul, it kind of encompasses all of the archetypes. So we'll be doing a little bit of a review, but really inviting you to abide in this place of your radiant soul that is timeless. It expands between lifetimes and goes beyond just your own physical energy body, but it's this radiant soul essence that is wise, that is an interdimensional consciousness, and to tap into this place and reside in this place as a place that you can come back to. It's very nurturing and enlivening, but also a place that we can live from much more frequently than we probably do. And so this is where we culminate and then really see together, where is your soul leading you to go from here? How do you live as this awakened, feminine, archetypal human that you were born to be?
Well, what a beautifully designed course, and really following the chakra system, activating these archetypes, stepping into your fullness and power. What a beautiful offering for this time as well. Again, you can find more details at the URL archetypalfemininecodes.com on each of those modules. So a few other things. So not only do you get the live 7 90-minute sessions with Devaa, that's going to include time to do interactive practices together, as well as ask your questions live. You'll have recordings of every session, both video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts to work with and highlight. There's weekly practices for home, which is a lot of where this really gets grounded as you sort of inhabit each archetype and make it real in your life. That's where the fruits come. There's a Facebook community to support you and deepen your experience, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. And there's also some great bonuses that Devaa and her allies have contributed to this program. There's a video teaching from Ariel Spilsbury, her mentor mentioned earlier, called Chaos or Collective Alchemy. Anything you want to share about that bonus?
Well, Ariel is an incredible being. As I mentioned at the beginning of this conversation, she is the first person that I came into contact with and is the founder of the 13 Moon lineage. And she's really a mythic human living today. She's an elder and is, I feel like her medicine is really appropriate for these times, talking about, what a lot of us are looking at out that looks kind of like chaos, collective chaos. How do we find that calm, that still point in the center of it all? And she's just an amazing transmitter of wisdom. So it's an incredible session with Ariel.
Mm-hmm. That's just one bonus. There's a second bonus called Redesigning Our World for Maximum Empowerment of Women, the critical role of the feminine in this next era. This is actually a video dialogue with Devaa, Jean Houston, Claire Zammit, and Shilpa Jain, really all dynamite, powerful women leaders. And I think that's from one of your summits. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. And this was a really, really great conversation. Women who are living as empowered, feminine, powerful radiant women, different ages, different backgrounds. And it was a very interesting and enlivening conversation to see, you know, how do we stand in our fullness of women from all these different perspectives. And it was a dynamite conversation that I'm really excited that gets to be shared with this audience now.
That's a great bonus by itself. And then there's one actually dual bonus that is a special when you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. You're going to get 2 extra bonuses. One is a video breath practice from Devaa called Breath of Fire. And the other is a video ceremony called Power Retrieval. How do those 2 connect into one special bonus?
Sure. So these are both different video trainings. The Breath of Fire is a really powerful practice that comes from the Hindu lineage. And for those of you that have a yogic practice, you might have experienced some of it. But it's a practice that really brings energy into your body. It releases tension and stress and kind of fires you up to be bringing your fierce feminine into the world. I know that as an alternative to drinking a cup of coffee, doing some of this breath practice can really fire me up for my day, for my world. It helps me to get creative energy moving. So I'm excited to have a little longer time to dive in with people and share about how to utilize this practice in your life. And then the second bonus is the powered retrieval ceremony, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, the power retrieval ceremony is one where oftentimes when we want to be a powerful woman in the world, but we have given our power away, or our power has leaked out, or even the system that we were born into, the family hasn't fully welcomed our power. So this is really a shamanic ritual that I actually went out into nature, filmed it in nature on our land here in Nevada City. And it is a deep process to call back your power from all the different places where your power has leaked, gotten lost, and to bring it all back to you so that you can reclaim the energy and the power that is your birthright, and you can live with it, walk with it, and wield it in the world. So it's a deeper dive from a longer course I did with a bunch of ceremonial activations, but it feels really appropriate as part of this course to offer that as a bonus.
That's great. Well, those are 2 powerful bonuses that you get if you sign up right away by midnight. And we always like to do this as a way to just give you a little incentive to take the time now and really tune in, read the page at Archetypal Feminine Codes. And if you're getting the nudge to move forward, then go ahead and make the commitment today, and you'll get Breath of Fire and Power Retrieval Ceremony. So it's clearly going to be such a beautiful program. I've watched so many women blossom as a result of working with Devaa. So you're in really good hands. It's the investment's very accessible, just 3 payments of $128, or you save 10% and you pay in full with 1 payment of $349. The course is going to start June 25th and run Wednesdays at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. There's some beautiful testimonials from very famous people like Marcy Shimoff, Marianne Williamson, Andrew Harvey, and there's also great testimonials from people that aren't as famous that have just blossomed as a result of working with Devaa. So you're in really good hands. She's very dedicated and has been doing this work for 2 decades now, and is really coming into a kind of masterful facilitation that can really help you birth the highest potentials in you. So again, it's all at archetypalfemininecodes.com, and you get those special 2 bonuses if you sign up by midnight tonight, which are the Breath of Fire and Power Retrieval Ceremony. So Devaa, really beautiful hour. Thank you for everything that you've brought. Anything that's still on your heart you want to share with people who are considering doing the full course with you?
Yes, thank you, Stephen. So I invite you to just drop in with me here for a moment and pause. Might even close your eyes. If there is a part of you that knows that you were born for these times, and you feel ready to step into your fullness as a woman, your feminine expression, you are ready to unleash your power, your radiance, your joy, your love at the next level. And you haven't quite been sure how to do that, but you know your soul is longing to be fully expressed. so you can give the gift you were born to give and live the life that you came here for, then I invite you to join me in this course. The whole world has been waiting for women to step in at the next level, and we've been doing it, but now is the moment we're being called finally to step into our fullness. And I would love to walk alongside you and support you in doing just that now. So if you're called, please join us in this incredible journey. I know your life will be transformed through it.
What a powerful invocation and invitation. Thank you, Devaa. And thank you all for joining. And we look forward to seeing many of you in Devaa's course at archetypalfemininecodes.com. And you'll get the special bonuses when you sign up by midnight tonight. Many blessings.
Thank you.